it is Monday, which means it is time to start a whole new week's reading vlog. I have finished The Count of Monte Cristo, all 1,276 pages. And you guys, this book is a little bit special for me. I loved this book. I fell in love with Alexandre Dumas so fast, and my love for him remained throughout the course of this story. It is just so wonderful. So the basic premise of this book is that we open up meeting a guy by the name of Edmond Dantes, who at 19 years of age is going to be promoted and become a ship's captain. Unfortunately, someone else who works on the ship got extremely jealous, and he falsely gets Edmond Dantes arrested, and Edmond remains in jail for 14 years, plotting his revenge. And when he gets out, boy, does that revenge go down, and it gets really dark really quickly, but in such a satisfying way, because you can't help but root for Edmond. And it was just fantastic. And the way it ended, I was thinking, okay, we're just gonna have this, ending that happens, but the ending had all the feels, and this is fantastic. The next book that I picked up was this book, Bittersweet by Sarah Ockler. This was a buddy read for me. This is also a buddy read for me. Now, I said in my October TBR that this book is a YA culinary fiction. And for those of you who don't know, culinary fictions are books that revolve around food and cooking. I'm going to make a retraction here and say, I think I was wrong. I don't believe this to be a culinary fiction. I thought after maybe chapter 2 that it was a contemporary, but now I'm calling it, no, it's not a contemporary, it's a YA romance. It's been alright, I guess, so far. So basically we are following a girl by the name of Hudson, who was a figure skater 3 months before the book starts. So we open up with a prologue, and she's setting off to go to a preliminary event, and before she gets there, she finds out that her father has had an affair against her mother, and so Hudson just throws the event while she's on the ice, and things change. We jump forward 3 months into the future with chapter 1. Her father has moved out, and Hudson is now working with her mother at her diner. Hudson really wants to get back into figure skating. She left it for those 3 months during the time jump, so she's trying to work back towards that, but is struggling to do so. And she's also dealing with a lot of other things. Look, I have found this book to be incredibly meandering, which is why I'm struggling to give you the premise, because Sarah Ockler, within the first 100 pages, is giving us 10 different things, 10 different streams of plot points that are occurring, and it just felt like we were swerving, and I just felt like saying to Sarah Ockler, grab the wheel, honey, you're swerving. Once I finish Bittersweet, I'm going to move on to my next book, which is this book, The Aeronaut's Windlass by Jim Butcher. This is an adult fantasy, and then if I have time during the week, I'm reading pretty quickly these days, then I'll move on to this book, The Tower of Fools. That's where I'll leave it for now. I'll check in with you guys again tomorrow. Hello everybody! It is Wednesday, which means it is time for another reading check-in vlog day. I hope you guys are doing well. I realized I didn't check in with you guys yesterday, but that's because I really wasn't having a good day. I wasn't feeling that well at all, but I have bounced back today. I missed you guys. Hello! But we have some great news. I have a cup of coffee on me, and whenever you have a cup of coffee on you, the world is sunny side up. I finished Bittersweet, and I'm happy that it is. There's a line in this book where her brother, who is younger than her, so very, very young boy, says to the mum, "Can I open the mail? Don't worry, I have my protective gloves and protective gear." And this book was written in 2012. Like, was it foreshadowing the pandemic? Anyway, there was just way too much going on that it was hard to zone in and get invested with the characters and get invested with the story when you have so many strands of so many different things that are going on. I mean, you know, there's a great saying out there which is, less is more, and I totally agree, and apparently Sir Ockler disagrees with me. But anyway, I got through the book. I thought that the book was okay. Now time to put on my little critical hat. And I will say I found many problems with this book that I just did not like at all. Yeah, this was a buddy read, and I annotated the heck out of this book over on my Discord server for the channel for this buddy read, and I was just berating the book all the way through. I don't know, just with a critical mind, I just don't think it's a good book. But I do think that if I had switched off my critical mind and just gone in here and enjoyed the book for what it was, that I would have given it 3 stars. So I'm going to be fair and give it 3 stars. I don't think it's awful. But at the same time, I don't think it's the best book I've read. And I also don't think I'll be thinking about it in a week's time either. So 3 stars, it's an average rating from me. I was disappointed, especially after coming off the extreme high of The Count of Monte Cristo. So we'll put that aside and move on to picking up the next book that I'm picking up after The Count of Monte Cristo that I was scared to pick up, and that's why it's on my TBR, and that is The Aeronauts Windlass by Mr. Jim Butcher. Okay, so long story short, in case you did not see my October TBR, this is a book that comes highly recommended from Daniel from booktube channel Daniel Green, and so I decided to purchase it because I hadn't purchased a book recommended by Daniel yet, and he is one of my favourite booktubers. I purchased it, I put it onto my shelf, and I kept saying every single month, yeah, nah, not this month, yeah, nah, not this month. It's a long book, it's about 650 pages long, the cover makes me think I may not necessarily like it, so I just kept putting it off, not anymore. Today I'm going to start this book, and we will see how we go. It is Friday! Hello and welcome to this next update. I know that this week I have not been checking in anywhere near enough, at least not by my own standards, but yeah, just with dealing with sickness here and there, and then yesterday I was just worked way off my feet. I just wasn't expecting it, but it happened. These things, you know, ensure that not many check-ins occur. So I'm sorry about that, but we are here. It is Friday, and now I have some things to update you on. First of all, Jim Butcher's The Aeronauts Windlass will become my very first spring DNF. It is spring in Australia, in case you're wondering. Yeah, so I gave this book a go. Not a red hot go, but I gave it a go. I think I read like 3 chapters before I DNF'd it, and it just seemed to me like it was going to become a nautical type adventure, and I'm just not someone who likes that sort of thing. I struggled my way through Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, and I just wasn't up for another nautical adventure. So all those times I was putting this book off, I guess I was putting it off with very good reason. So I end up DNFing this book, and then I moved on to the next Mr. Francy buddy read book of the month, which is this book, The Tower of Fools by, oh my word, by Andrzej Sapkowski, who is the author of the well-known Witcher series. I have not read the Witcher series, but a lot of people who have read the Witcher series say that The Tower of Fools is written in the same vein as that series, which is leading me to think that it's probably a good thing that I haven't read the Witcher series, because I really don't like the writing style of Andrzej Sapkowski. Maybe it's just not for me, I don't know. But this book is an adult fantasy. And the premise of this book is that we're following a guy by the name of Ray Navar or something like that. Anyway, it was originally written into Polish and then it was translated into English. So we're following a guy by the name of Ray Navar who has committed adultery. He did it with a woman who is married, and her brothers found out and they want to kill him for it. So Renovar runs away and ends up stumbling into a travelling / questing trope, which y'all know is my least favourite trope ever. And this book is definitely giving me very high Lord of the Rings vibes, which y'all know is my least favourite series of all time. But I'm persisting through with it because I think it's okay. There's enough there for me to want to keep going. But I don't think I'll be doing a review of this book, and I also don't think it's going to get a high rating from me. To delve a little deeper into what's disappointing me about the writing style of this book, I do believe that Andrzej Sapkowski removes himself way too much from the action. It's kind of written in a way that's zoomed out from what's going on, and we're being told this from a third-person perspective, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I would like to zoom in a lot more. Plus, with it being an adult fantasy, there is a magic system in this book. I could not tell you what that magic system is because it is so incredibly soft. I have not come across such a soft magic system before. I have no clue what's going on. We have a moment early on in the book where our protagonist takes out a talisman, intending to use it for something, and so he does, and it works. Yay, how it works. What he did to make it work, I don't know. And then we have another moment where he does something else and something else and something else, and we see what it does, what his magic can do, but we have no clue how he got there. And as someone who loves fantasy, specifically with hard magic systems, to have an incredibly soft magic system really annoys me. So, all in all, this book is fine enough for me to keep going, but it's not a book that is going to become a favourite of mine anytime soon, unfortunately. But that's okay. Should have said this earlier, I am there, which is 335 pages into this 549 page book. So I should have this done by tomorrow if I just, put my head down and get through it, and then I can start on my next book, which will be going into the Shadowhunters series, back to the Shadowhunters series, which is these lovely editions right up here. And so I'm looking forward to getting back into that. So we'll see how we go, but at the moment, not really enjoying this one, and DNF'd this one. It is Saturday, which means it is time for the final check-in of the week. Interesting news today, finally. I have been waiting 30 days, but I finally received a delivery. When I say I've waited 30 days, I mean that I got a book delivered to Australia, to me, from America, and it's been in Melbourne, in my city, for 30 days. So, it finally arrived, and that is the US edition of Skyward. Yee! So, I might display it. Let's talk about my reading. Tower of Fools. I am there, which is really close to the end. Page 444. There's a synchronicity for you. And, okay, I'm not enjoying this book, to be honest. I'm pretty certain, with being about 100 pages away from being done, that I'm going to give this book about 2 stars. Honestly, the majority of it has gone over my head. I don't even know why I kept reading. I just did. What I read in the last 50 or so pages has been rather entertaining, but aside from that, I guess I just really want to give Andrzej Sapkowski, the author of this book, as much of a chance as I could. I haven't read the Witcher series, and I thought maybe it will get better, maybe I'll just, really get into it after a while, but it just hasn't happened for me. This is book 1 in a series. I'm not going to be continuing on with the series, I'm telling you that right now, but it's been an experience, and it's reminded me a lot of Lord of the Rings. So there we go. This should be done. Hopefully I'll finish it tomorrow. But I have decided to get back into multi-reading, reading more than one book at a time. So I shelved this till tomorrow and picked up my next read, this book, with the beautiful Alec on the cover, City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare, which is book number 5 in the Shadowhunters series. So, I am so happy with this book. I am there, which is 60 pages in, and oh my gosh, this book is so much better than the Tower of Fools. Cassandra Clare's writing style, maybe it's not for everyone, but it's definitely for me. I may not always enjoy the plots that she has planned for us, but I love her writing style. It's so easy to read, which makes for such a fast read, and when the plot is enticing, it makes for such a fast, quick, enjoyable read. And that's what this has been so far. I've raced to page 60 really, really quickly, but not really a lot I can say because I'm only 60 pages in, but also because this is book 5 in a series. But what I can say is this book has had a much better start for me than book 4 had. So I'm very happy about that. Let's wrap up the week, shall we? And then, yeah, we'll be done. Okay. So, this week, I don't remember where I started. Wow, what a week it's been. I started with The Count of Monte Cristo. Absolutely loved it, and I highly recommend it. I gave this book 5 stars. I then moved on to Bittersweet by Sarah Ockler, and I gave this book 3 stars. I've given it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm giving it 3 stars. And of course, then I picked up The Tower of Fools, Lord of the Rings Part 2, in my opinion, and not really enjoying this. Maybe it'll get 2 stars. I'm 100 pages away. And then, as you guys know, I picked up this awesome book, The City of Lost Souls. So far, the first 60 pages, it's been amazing. Oh yes, and I also DNF'd The Aeronaut's Windlass. Alright, that is the week done. I hope you guys have had an amazing first week in this month that we call October. Letting you guys go peace, blessings, and so much love. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you again soon. Please remember that audiobooks are definitely a viable option, and not to put anyone down who does listen to them. Whether you are physically reading a physical book, physically reading an ebook, or listening to an audiobook, you are consuming a book. Don't let anyone tell you how to read. Thank you so much for watching, and happy reading!